Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm here, CCxRC, and today we're going to take the Typhon 4x4 Mega and we're going to make it brushless. We have got the EZRUN combo from Hobbywing, which has a Max10 ESC, and it has a 3652 motor in it, which is their 3300 kV. It's going to give us some speed. So we're going to go ahead and switch to this. I had put on that 17-tooth pinion, thinking it would give us a little bit more speed. It was pretty much like a mile per hour more, or the same, depending on how you looked at it. I could put on like a 19-tooth. I've got a whole pinion thing here that I keep. These are 48 pitch, these are 32 pitch, and I like to organize them like this. And so I've got different options, but I think there's a 17 in here now, and I have a 19-tooth in here. I'm going to try it with the 17-tooth first when I go brushless. That's kind of why I bought the 17-tooth, was knowing that we were going to put this in. But after we run that, we'll see how the temps are, and maybe we'll put a 19-tooth on and go for more speed with this brushless setup. That little tooth count is a little bit different when you're running 3S power, which this is going to allow us to do. That 3S battery really is going to give us a jump in speed. But then even the smaller pinion changes, when you're running that much power already, you know, 2 teeth could give us a couple more miles per hour, which would be nice. So we're going to start with the 17 tooth that's in there and get going. All right, so here's the combo that we went with. We're going to go ahead and get this all prepped up. One of the things that I forgot to mention is that you are going to have to solder. Some of these Hobbywings, they come with a XT60 connector on them already. This one, however, does not. So if you get this system, you will need to attach your own end. Here's what it comes with, and like, it does have them pre-tinned for you, and it's got a nice little on-off button here, but it does not come with an end on it. So I could do a couple of things. I have several different options here. I have the EC5, which works with a lot of my batteries from the bigger cars that I run. Since I'm doing 3S, I do have several 3S that run this. I have a lot that run the XT60 as well. And then these are the IC3 connectors, which I don't have very many batteries that are IC3 or EC3 connectors, so I don't plan to use this because I don't have anything that's more than a 2S. So I think what the plan is going to be is to use one of these two. I think what I'm going to do is, I do have adapters down. I'm going to go ahead and put on this one. It just makes more sense. And it has this nice little sleeve over it. We'll go ahead and do that. The first thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is put this sleeve on here so I don't forget later on. That'll go over and keep these wires nice and separated. And so since I am using the small one, I will go ahead and use their shrink wrap as well, just to make sure that there's no chance of the wires coming in contact. Not really a necessary move, I don't think, with this other connector that keeps the wires apart, but it doesn't hurt to be safe. So we'll put these on ahead of time, like so. The thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pre-tin this, add a little bit of solder in here, and then we'll flip it over and do the other side as well. Usually I don't like the tinning that they do on these. It doesn't heat up nice for whatever reason. So I go ahead and also, even though these do come pre-tinned, I put a little bit of my own on here, and I just kind of hold it on here, try and get the heat. Right now we have the positive wire, and so we're going to go ahead and just line that up with the positive side. Pretty clean connection on that one. It goes slid in. Clean up some of the excess. Also give it the tug test, and they're holding on there nice and tight. Slide up our shrink wraps. Kind of move the heat around it a little bit. Some people use the soldering iron. I find the lighter just works really fast. The last part will be to just slide this up like so, and then it'll just click on. So you might want to wait, if this is hot, for it to cool so you don't move this. Mine isn't really that hot, so I don't feel like this is bending and getting warped out of shape. But There we go. We have it nice and clean. All right, now that we have the soldering done, we're able to get in here, take off our body, and start removing anything you may have in your vehicle. I'm just getting back from doing a speed run and realizing that it's not much faster than 20 miles an hour with the upgrade. At this point, we're going to do the part where we take out the motor ESC, but I already have that as a video, so I'll link below and you can watch how this process is done. Done pretty simply with this design. There it goes. I'm going to save this motor for other uses, but as you guys notice, I'm kind of just dropping my screws on the table. I do have a CCxRC mat on here, which makes working on cars super easy. It's a magnetic mat, so things don't roll away. All right, let's see if that's enough. That is enough. All right, so what we have to do now is just remove these motor screws, and the motor will be ready to be swapped out. We are going to want to keep this pinion though, so you have to use a 1.5 millimeter wrench and loosen up the grub screw, because we're going to be saving this for our new motor. Now you want to make sure that your motor uses the same size shaft here. That feels stripped. So I'm going to go ahead and, mine is stripped. I'm going to be putting that 19 tooth on there because I'm trying to keep this quick for the video, and I don't feel like messing with drilling that out right now. But here is our motor. It does use the same shaft size, so we are good there. I should point out that this one does come with a little shaft sleeve here, so that if your motor pinion is a little bit larger size, you can put this over the shaft and line up the holes so that your grub screw still fits through and locks it down. Alright guys, so I did have an issue with the other grub screw not coming out. It was stripped out, so it's not coming out of the other motor. So I decided to just, for now, to keep things moving along, to put the 19 tooth on. And I'm just going to have to check temperatures. I don't want to overheat the motor with too big of a pinion. But I think that will be alright. Other people I know are running 20 tooths on theirs. But it really comes down to your kV of your motor. So we're going to just have to check this as we go. I'm not going to tighten this down all the way yet, because I do need to put it through here and see if we're close or not. That is perfect. It comes right out to the end. All the teeth meet up and it looks great. So we're going to line up the first hole with our wires going upward. Put some thread lock on this as well, and then we'll be able to line up our pinion here. But people have different methods of setting their gear mesh. Some people take a piece of paper. I've ripped this out of the manual and they just kind of put it in here, and then they line up the gear mesh using the paper. So, and then they'll tighten down. Some people use a dollar bill because it doesn't tear quite as easily as the paper. So I'm going to tighten this down and we'll take a look at what the mesh looks like doing it this way. So you then just roll it out. Actually looks pretty good. Have a little bit of movement there. That's good. So that's one way of doing it. I typically eyeball it. Always stop up a little early and just hand tighten the rest of the way so you do not strip the plastic threads. Clicks into place. Pushes back into place like that, and then we put our one screw in. So we're going to remove two screws here on the top, one on each side. All right, pull this out. Pay attention to which one you pull this out of on your SLR 300. It says throttle, so it should be easy enough to line up, and it has plus minus on here as well, so that when you line it up, you do it right. So we're going to grab our next ESC, this one that we just worked on, and going to have a lot of extra cable here. There's a couple ways of doing this. I think we're going to go this way, and then we'll tuck a lot of this extra cable down underneath inside of here. So the black wire is facing right now toward me, the outside of the car, to line up with how they have it set here. I only want a little bit to come out, so I'm going to go ahead and run it. There's a little piece of rubber here. Right here, a red piece that keeps this kind of waterproofed, and so you just got to push this down in here, clear everything out of the way, and it'll clip on like so. We got a little temp wire here that's going to go over to the motor as well. The next part that we're going to have here is these 3 motor wires. They're labeled A, B, and C on your motor, and we're just going to line them up with the corresponding letters on the ESC. So here's A, middle one is B, and process of elimination, this one is C. And then we've got the motor temp wire. You could also mount it down here if you really wanted. Extend this wire coming out of here, and you can put it down there, but I'm going to keep it up top. This next step isn't necessary, but I like to do it, and that's to use some alcohol to clean down the surfaces. If you don't have alcohol, just make sure you have really clean surfaces where you're going to be sticking this down, especially if you've run it a lot and it's gotten dirty in here. Just clean this down and allow it to dry off. The alcohol dries really quickly, which is one of the things that I do like about it. Here is the tape that is provided. It is longer than you need, but if you cut it, you can also use it for your power button. Apply it on here, and I usually will use my knife or something to peel back this other layer. Use this to kind of peel this and not ever have to touch it. I feel like I get a better bond with the tape. Next, I'm going to put my tape onto the power button. I've moved the ESC over to the point where there's enough room to put this right next to it, to reach under the body and turn it on and off. So, right there. Here's a close look at the system now. We've got this temp wire. We're gonna kind of wrap it around here. Keep it away from where our drive shaft's gonna go. I have not put the drive shaft back in yet. We'll do that now. Easy enough to do. Let's just do a quick check here again and make sure our body fits, and it fits great. So even with those wires up there, they kind of just contour inside the body. Not a big deal. So that should give us some good speed. I do have a little 3S battery up here that I can use for this. What we do have to do is we have to take this user manual and use it to set our throttle points. Okay, so there are 2 calibrations you can do with this Hobbywing. The first one you have to do, you must do this, is to calibrate your throttle, your endpoints. To do that, make sure your transmitter's on, hold the set button, and turn it on till it starts beeping. Put it in neutral. There, now you hit the button one more time. You heard 1 beep. That makes it, first of all, stop beeping so I don't wake up my wife. But now the next thing is you hold the throttle full and press it. There's 2 beeps. Now do full reverse, 3 beeps. You are now done calibrating. You can turn off. It's going to turn itself back on. If you want to go into the mode calibration for the ESC, say you want to change your punch setting, which is setting number 10, that's different. You literally hold down both and you hold down the set button until it flashes green for the amount of numbers you want it to go. So that's 1. 2. That's setting 2, which is LiPo. 3 is cutoff. Keep holding it. 4 is ESC thermal. 5 is motor protection. That's 6, the long one, 5 and 1. That's 7, 8, 9, and this will be 2 longs. That's 10. So 3 beeps now means it's level 3. I hit it one more time, it'll set it to 4. Here it beeps 4 times. Hit it again, it goes to 5. 5 for them is a long beep. The 1, 1, 2. That's the setting that it came in is 3. I'm going to set mine at 4. I'm going to bump it up one more, and then when we're done, we switch off the ESC and switch it back on. And that's it. So you can go through and you can use the manual here or the internet to find out what the different settings are and modes, but you basically have to hold down that set button and it'll cycle through the different numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a long hold beep, and then 6 is 5 beep plus 1, and it, you know, so it uses that tone in order to count for you. So that is how you can program this. I wanted to have a little bit more punch level in mind. Maybe get some wheelies if we can get them. Ooh, there's some power there now. That's what I'm talking about. But again, always check your temps. If you don't have a temperature reader, you should get one. They're very worthwhile to have, and they're not a ton of money. You can get them at Home Depot, Amazon, your hobby shops may sell them, but literally just check the temps with the temp gun. The other way is just to hold your finger on it. It's a finger test. If you can't hold it on there for 5 seconds, it's too hot. So that's just another way. I hope you guys found this little upgrade video helpful, and it gets you moving on up in the hobby, getting your cars going just a little bit faster. And we thank you for watching as always, and hope you guys have fun RCing. Catch you next time.
What?